Okay, this is a video response to Shawn Driscoll. Shonner, I tried to do a fancy little computer voice like you did, but I lacked the software. That was hilariously funny, though. It's a really interesting video you put up there. First of all, thanks for the video. I want to just curse you because you've messed my head up with flawless logic. Here's the thing: is that everything you said in the video about in your video about how long it would take to learn stuff and how much training would be required, and I agree. It's all logical. It all makes sense. I cannot fault it for any reason. I mean, it just bugs me because part of my sensibilities as someone who's always loved games and the mechanics of games is that RPGs need progression. Damn it, you need to have progression. Like, maybe that's not 100% true. I've always felt that way. In an RPG, the character must progress. He must make a series of adventures, and then at the end, he's better than he was at the beginning. Or, I mean, he can be worse in some ways, certainly, and yet you're right. In real life, learning skills and stuff would take a long time. And in movies, like you mentioned, Alien, and, almost any action movie, really, almost any movie, the skills of the player, of the character, are more or less the same at the end of the movie than at the beginning. Unless they have a montage. When they have one of those montages where they show you a series of 5-second clips and play a 2-minute musical, then, that's their leveling up, I guess. There's always a sense of progression in the storyline. The person started off as just someone, a retiree or just a pilot in traveler terms, maybe going through his ordinary everyday life, and then circumstances are such that he gets sucked away on this adventure, and he goes through this adventure. So he might grow, emotionally as a person, or get worse as a person. But like you say, the stats probably don't change. And yet that seems to be, as logical as that is, it seems to be utterly contrary to most game design. If I look at D&D, really any fantasy game, when the player starts out at level 1, they have a weapon, maybe they have their sword, and they are proficient in it, meaning they have training to know how to use it. And so the logic of the fantasy world says that as the person, gets into fights and uses that sword more and more, then they learn more skills with that sword. They become better at using it, and they gradually, in crunch terms, they level up and they get bonuses, so they're able to swing it a little bit more accuracy and hit a little harder with it, and so on and so forth. And that works, but I can't deny your point. It's very logical that in the parameters you've set out, a pilot who's 35 or 40, or let's look at a professional athlete. If you're a baseball player or a football player, by the time you hit 40 or 45, you've probably already been as good as you're ever going to get at that. So I don't know. I mean, Traveler really does sound like an interesting game to me, but it also, in a not unpleasant way, it offends my sensibilities for game systems and how they must function, how that progression must function. I don't even know what I'm saying here. I just, It seems to me that MMOs, it's mandatory that they have progression, and yet I cannot refute your argument in any really strong way that everything you said makes sense, that this is the person now and this is the person at the end, and they're pretty much the same. Maybe they learn a little bit, but anyway, thanks for the video. I still want to play. I'm still hoping you'll invite me to a game someday so I can get in there, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.